So, hi everyone, my name is Peter. I'm a co-founder of ExamineChina.com. In Poland, we get brand ChinskiRaport.pl. We started in Poland and eventually scaled to the other countries, other markets. Topic of my presentation today is doing business with China, what startups need to know. So first things I would like to ask if anyone from you maybe already have some experience with doing business with China. Maybe you sell something to China or try to import something. Okay, so some people have some kind of experience. That's great. To put things in perspective, just to keep in mind that China it's evolving and still developing country. In this slide, you can see how much China changed in 20 years. This is the same buildings from Shanghai. So China is still evolving. New cities are built every day. Development is going really fast in all areas of life, from a legal perspective, a business perspective, to cultural perspective. Also, funny fact, China produced more steel in 2 years than Britain since more than 100 years. So they are going really fast, and they will eat the world eventually. When you think of doing business in China, it's really important to keep in mind that European Union is the main business partner for China. So it's really important to communicate to Chinese companies that you are from United Europe, and they are selling most of their goods from China to Europe. US is the second market for China. Also, doing business in China is not only importing things but also exporting, and by export you can understand not only cars and equipment or food, but also software. For example, there are Polish companies who are doing business in China and exporting their software to China. So it's possible. The market is huge. Few words about online market and how e-commerce is growing in China. They got the biggest e-commerce market in the world right now. Have you ever heard about a Singles Day? It's like Cyber Monday, but in China, and it's the biggest day of volume sales of e-commerce in the world. Just also to show you some version of their social media services. The most important app and social media platform right now it's WeChat. Almost every Chinese are on WeChat right now. Actually, Facebook is scared really much of WeChat. They are not allowing Facebook, Twitters, YouTubes, not only because of censorship, but to give advantage to domestic companies. Most of these huge internet companies are funded partially by the government. Ren is equivalent of Facebook, and Sina Weibo, it's for example the equivalent is like Twitter version of China. Well, so one way, of course, is to try to export and sell your product to China, and I think it's a really good way. But today, just to show you some examples, I will focus on startups and customer electronics. It's really related to China, and as you probably know, most of customer electronics are produced there. Here's CEO of Apple who visiting Foxconn factory, the biggest factory in the world. Steve Jobs see the opportunity with China really early, so he put all the development, all the factories there, and it was quite a good move. There's only one place in the world where they can create this one iPhone per second, and also the other companies in customer electronics, from Nintendo to Sony, Amazon, all these devices are made in even not only in China but even in one factory. From all these companies, from Kindles, PlayStation, Xbox, but also you don't need to be a household name to create your startup and to create your customer electronic or even other product. Here's a founder of GoPro cameras. He started doing business with Chinese manufacturer, even not going to China, but with connecting with via faxes, internet, and he created so big and successful company. Some other cases of really well-known products manufactured in China, for example, all things wearables, smartwatches. Here's the Pebble, also the first smartwatch, the biggest success on a Kickstarter. They've got a lot of problems when they create the product to develop it with China, but it was successful. Also 3D printers, all other wearables. The funny thing is you don't need to market your product as it's made in China, because no one of these companies are doing that. They are saying it's designed in California, designed in Europe, but all things are, to be honest, made in China. Not only customer electronic is the way to go with your China sourcing. You can also create any other kind of products from, for example, Warby Parker. It's biggest. You can call them startup a few years ago, but now they are $1 billion company, and they are creating new glasses. And this is just the way, like any other sunglasses, it's all made in China, and now they are selling it via e-commerce. So your job is to find a great product, brand it, create the sales force, create the brand for your company. You can use many services to do it. Well, there are many myths about production in China, about problems and about opportunities. First of all, the first and most well-known myth about China is cheap labor. Everyone thinks that China still get the super cheap labor. However, the quality of work in China is changing constantly. They're creating much better quality all over the years, so it's not so cheap anymore, to be honest. However, low cost must need low quality. For example, iPhone is high quality, but it's really low cost. Another main problem with Chinese companies, everyone are afraid that Chinese will steal them very unique idea. However, of course it's happening, and IP law in China is still changing, but you need to keep in mind that probably factory won't be interested in stealing your unique idea. They've got other proven market received products that they want to copy first. And another myth is you just need the good idea. The good idea is it's nothing without will to put money, to put time, and to put your persistence behind it. It's really hard to develop a product there, also to sell your product to Chinese customers. Many people are asking, where should I go? I want to do business with China. Should I go to Beijing, or should I go to Shanghai? Well, the answer is it depends. China gets many production regions. You need to choose the right region for you. If you want, for example, LED lamps, you need to go to Ningbo. If you want to go buy steel, you can go to Shanghai, for example. But it's really important to find the right region for you, because if you just go to Shanghai, said you want to buy to Hong Kong and want to find some product, you will probably just find a trading company that will be charging you over the top from factory prices. So let's take some example. For example, electronics. It would be for Shenzhen. Shenzhen is the main place where you develop when you produce your product from customer electronics to any other kind of electronics. Shenzhen is headquarters of most of big Chinese electronic companies, from TP-Link, DJI, Huawei. It's the biggest factory of the world. GDP it's in 12-15 was $270 billion. They are still developing. New factories are becoming built every day. Another important thing when you are creating your product is to calculate the cost per unit. Many people just taking the information how much money you need to spend per unit and how much you need to sell you can sell it for. However, they are not calculating the other costs like travel, prototyping, exchange rates, quality control, patents, duty, transport to the port. And so it's really common for crowdfunding, and this is the reason why so many crowdfunding campaigns around electronics and all kinds of goods becoming disasters. Here's some just case that 3D printer was not delivered to the customers, so it's really important to calculate the product price per unit before you will start raising money from customers. Due diligence, do it. There are a lot of problems with Chinese companies, from frauds, lack of certification. If a product need to get, for example, CE certificate and it won't have it, you will have problem with customs. So always, if CE is required, check if the company from China, your partner, really got the CE certificate. And other problems is low quality, lower than expected. Samples are different from the products. Also, another crucial tip: always order the samples before you will start sourcing. And all kinds of communication problems, from language barrier, cultural and other. There's many miscommunication with Chinese partners. Most people are searching for don't go to China, but just searching the internet for the companies. For example, from Alibaba, and I must say this is a great site, great company, owning really a lot of from biggest company, also investing to startups in China and in the United States and in Europe. But Alibaba, it's not so well proven. Here is some information published by Alibaba, what kind of problems with suppliers customers have, and main of problems. And you can see here that almost 25% was scammed by Chinese company. So Alibaba said publicly, and this is the huge problem. Also, keep in mind, if you want to source, you can see that many Alibaba suppliers got this stamp, a gold supplier. However, it's not what you think, probably, because it's not some kind of approval stamp that the company is really legit. This is kind of the way that Alibaba is making their money. I just set up really account that merchant account without without even selling anything on Alibaba, and they are just sending me these emails with a payment for a gold supplier, and want to upsell me with this offer. So keep in mind that the gold supplier is just something you buying from Alibaba, not some stamp of approval. Here's a screen from the internet about sending deposit to China and problems with the company. We are seeing it all the time. This is what we're trying to help our customers with. So our services in Poland is ChinskiRaport. All over the world, it's examinechina.com. You can verify the company from China in 48 hours. So you can get all the information: who owns the company, is this production company or just the trader, how long the company is registered. All the information are sourced from legal sources in China. We got our own office in China, and we collect the always fresh data, and get more than 5 years of experience. Also, another problem is to find a good business partner. If you are looking to source your product, probably the biggest companies like Foxconn and Quanta will not talk to you. You need to find a company that's not Foxconn, not trading company, but factory experience with working with startups, with smaller MQOs, so a minimum quantity order. I would say at last 5 years on the market, probably in Shenzhen or in Dongguan. If you're looking for customer electronics, if you're looking for any other kind of products, you need to find a production region. Another thing is really important, even if you importing things from China, to register your trademark. Many squatters, like domain squatters in a few years ago, are squatting the names of companies from the West and from US, from Europe. Examples, even Tesla didn't register their trademark. Some guy just registered Tesla name. Apple's got the same problem. If you're a big company like Tesla or China, you can of course go and hire an army of lawyers. They say you exactly that you need to buy your name from some guy. So that's what they are doing. Probably if you're a small startup, you haven't the funds just to pay the squatter for the name. So I would recommend to register your name if you plan to print it on your product in China before sending to Europe or US. I also highly recommend to do at least one quality control if you're producing anything. Check quality, what materials are used, dimensions, and so on. You can of course go yourself. You can hire some controllers, but quality control, I would say, is it's crucial. Well, there's too much of opportunity at the moment not to work hard. I'd say Liam Casey, founder of PCH International. I don't know if you know the company. PCH is Irish company in China. You probably don't heard about them, but if you have any Apple or Samsung or Xiaomi device in your pocket, it was in some way in the hands of PCH, from packaging to manufacturing and so on. Also, here's costs for startups. So for your first credit report, we can give you 15% off. As well, we are doing some training for the companies, for entrepreneurs, about doing business in China, about Chinese business culture, about transporting law, and so on. So if you would be interested, we have another one in June, and also in Warsaw, but also in Gdynia. And we are also doing registration for trademarks. So if it would be interesting, you can contact me as well. It's not maybe so visible, but it's Piotr at ChinskiRaport.pl or Peter at examinechina.com. And yeah, this is, I think it's okay. It's everything. Maybe some questions?
Thank you for your presentation. You raised the interesting topic of the myths, and you were mentioning that it's cheap and that it has a low quality. I understood that it's a myth and it's not true. So what is your opinion right now about it? Because later on you mentioned that one of the dangers is, for example, low quality.
Well, in China you will get the quality that you are paid for. So for example, if you will pay a really small amount of money and you will be negotiating really low prices, it will be probably lower quality. However, you can get really good quality for bigger money. However, it will be much better. So I said, do not push your partners to their limits when negotiating with the partners, to get the quality that will be acceptable for the price. And yeah, in China you can get really good quality. However, there's also the lowest quality also comes from China.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask how the current economic problems are going to affect using suppliers from China. I mean, you had this statistic about the steel production. Overproduction of steel is a huge problem for China right now. And the government is trying to rein in the credit boom that they've had over the past more than 10 years. So is this going to be does this mean that prices are going to go down? People are going to be looking more for clients they can export to? Or is it more of a threat that you have to be even more careful in choosing your partner because they might disappear? How is the macro scene going to play out over the next 2 or 3 years?
Well, great question. As you mentioned, China just grew too fast, and they've got now some problems in the macroeconomic scale. To be honest, it depends on the sector. Some sectors probably will be more affected, some will be probably less affected. So really depends on sector. However, overall, it's not good situation for China, but they really need to slow down. And but to be honest, I don't know what forecaster will be proven or not. So it's hard to tell.
Okay, so you said that labor in China is not that cheap, and how does it look comparing to Poland? For example, if Apple wanted to build iPhones in Poland, and how much cheaper is it in China?
Well, there are two problems. One problem is prices of hiring employee in China. The second thing is how powerful the Chinese factories and modern are. So they are producing iPhones so fast and so cheap, not just because they have cheap labor, but because they have the most advanced manufacturing systems on the world, and also really great logistics solutions. So, and if you're asking about prices of hiring people in China, I would say, for example, for factory employee, it will be little bit more than in Poland, and engineers and managers will be about 30-40% more than in Poland. So the payment for employee is growing, and it's growing from it depends also on the city. In the Shanghai, you have really high prices for hiring people for a real estate, and when you're going deeper to the China, for example, if you want to set up a factory, it still could be cheaper. So it really depends. China is a really big country, and you can't compare Shanghai or Beijing or Shenzhen and Hong Kong to some deeper regions where are a lot of people who are still really living above norm of good quality standard.
Hi, actually, I would like to ask you about the Chinese business culture. So, how does it affect like doing business with Chinese, and if it's any difference between like the Chinese business culture in the startups and like the larger companies? So, like, are there any special rules that we should know before doing business with Chinese? Thanks.
Yes, there are long things on this list. When it comes to business culture, that it's really crucial when you're negotiating with factories. However, as you said, there are differences between a startup and an older company. So there is a concept of guanxi, so as like equivalent of Chinese to networking. And for example, the older businessman will have more practice of guanxi, and he will be looking more for this traditional way of doing business. And some people who are in, for example, startup scene, and if you're looking for tech startups like e-commerce, content, and software, it probably Beijing is like the base for all this scene. So there will be more like us, more like people from US. So they are not looking so deep into the rules of Chinese business culture. So I think in the startup scene, it has much less meaning. However, there are some things that you all should know, and I think the best way to go to training, or at least read some book before going to China. It will really help. And don't understanding the business culture gets many companies in trouble, mainly from US and Europe. For example, in whole Asia got the little bit more similar business culture to each other. So when businessmen, from example, Japan are going to China, their domestic culture will be more like Chinese culture. But when it comes to Europe and States, it's like totally different planet.
How do you think the language is important for doing business there? Because I'm a Chinese and we're trying to do business in Poland. I think the language is a big challenge for me. And I think maybe Polish is the hardest language to speak and the Chinese is the hardest language to write. So, so not being able to speak Chinese, do you think that would be, and doing business in China, would that be a big challenge?
你好. So yeah, as you said, language is a crucial challenge. Maybe less in startup scene. However, also still a really big challenge. And I would say, if you, for example, going to trade show in China, you need to have a native speaker who will help you to understand, because many Chinese, many older businessmen still don't speak any English. So I think it's crucial, and it's one of the biggest challenge. As you said, the writing, and this is the whole new level of the problem. However, the simplest solution is guerrilla solution. For example, the WeChat get the translation, and you can communicate via WeChat. But I would say, if you want to be professional and do serious business in China, you need to use natives to help you navigate. Not so well. So. 谢谢。谢谢。